You know, when I first moved to San Francisco, before 1990, there was a joke going around that it was the gay 90s in Palm Springs because everyone who lived there was either gay or 90. Well, I don't know how true that is, but the idea of being gay and gray, aging, is not something that's confined to any one city. And here in San Francisco, well, that population is growing every day. Here with us today is Jorge Rodriguez from the GLBT Aging Policy Task Force. Nice to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So how many of our brothers and sisters who are seniors live here in San Francisco?
I think we have about 30,000 aging gay population here, yeah.
And how would you define that? Older than what?
According to our statistics, it's over 60.
Oh, so I'm not quite there yet, but I'm bumping right up against it.
We're not counting 50, no. Over 60, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is an area of the population that hasn't gotten a lot of attention in years past. I mean, when you look at marketing materials or magazines, anything about the gay community, certainly the gay male community, you would think we were all 26 and went to the gym 5 times a week.
Yeah.
What is it like being older and gay in San Francisco?
I think at this moment is a very special moment for us. I said it personally because I don't feel that I'm old. I still feel that I have a lot of strength and that I'm able to see my friends, my family. But it's not that easy for everybody, especially people that have problems with housing, problems with health, with isolation that we found in this survey that we did. So those are major problems that I don't think that we were really targeting them before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell us a little bit about the GLBT Aging Policy Task Force. What is it? What are the results of the work they're doing, and how did you come to be involved?
Yes, I was still a member of the Clínica Esperanza, and they referred me to this election. It was done by the Board of Supervisors of San Francisco. It was David Campos and I think another member of the board that came with the idea of creating this task force in order to look for solutions to the problems that were affecting the gay aging community in this city. So we were selected. A lot of people show up for the interview, and 16 of us were selected, and I was the only Latino. There was a lady also, Latina, but she eventually resigned. And I was the only one that was left, yeah.
Now, the organization you were working with before you got named to the GLBT Aging Policy Task Force, Clínica Esperanza, is an AIDS service organization that works specifically with the Spanish-speaking population in San Francisco, correct?
Yes.
So Supervisor David Campos put forward your name, and San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee appointed you, correct?
Exactly. It was appointed by the mayor.
What stage is the task force in, and is there a report that is going to be issued?
It is almost finished, that report. We are working on it now and drafting it, and we will be presenting it on March 25th, this coming March 25th, yeah.
Right. And I understand recently that the task force received a grant to help pay for this study, correct? From From the Tom Dross estate.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
I know a little something about that, so I wanted to get in a plug for our generous friend.
That was very kind of the executors that provide this money at the last minute because we were running short of money in order to complete the study. Yeah.
You would think that in a city as rich as San Francisco, finding $5,000 to fund something like this wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
What is it like always struggling for funds to do such important work?
You know, I have heard that before, that compared to Los Angeles, this city is very tough about getting funds for beautiful causes like this, yeah.
Now, you have been now on the task force for how long?
We started in October 2012, and I think that they have to name a new group after this project is finished. So probably by April or May, they will have to name new people.
And this is a volunteer commitment on your part?
It's totally, and the majority of the people that I'm there with, we're about 16, they work. I mean, this is important time that they take from their important decisions to come and work there, yeah.
During your work, I imagine you've learned a lot about a number of senior populations within the GLBT community. Speaking for your community, Spanish-speaking, I mean, that is a diverse community within itself. I mean, someone who's Spanish-speaking from Puerto Rico is different from Guatemala or Mexico or Nicaragua, and then to be gay and then to be aging. I mean, there's a lot of little opportunities there,
Yes.
there for isolationism. What have you learned about these communities?
I was very fortunate, as they say in the group, that this time the community responded. You know, sometimes we are not very much willing to give information, and we're afraid. But this time we started a campaign, and then we found in many of the cases similar problems within a man coming from Guatemala, or a Chicano here, a gay Chicano, versus a white man living in San Francisco. So I would say that in general, maybe issues like housing or issues with economy, I think the situation we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, you know, you knock on someone's door who's maybe a gay man living in the Mission or somewhere in a rent-controlled apartment, and you're like, hi, I want to learn more about being gay and senior. I imagine they're not terribly forthcoming all the time.
No, exactly. There are still people, we think that because we are in San Francisco, everything is open, but there are still people living with their families, and they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe they don't want to disclose it.
I mean, this sort of empirical data for any sort of project like this is very important, but it's not easy to get. I mean, do you have social workers you work with? Are you part of the team going out, or are you managing the people that go out and get the information?
No, we did it on our own in this particular group. We, for example, I was responsible to try to attract the Latino community into the survey for them, and we gave them different options. You know, the most easiest one was the one making the survey on the internet, but not everybody was able to have a computer. So we have to visit places and try to approach these people, take the hard copy of the survey, and then help them fill it out. So that was a way.
So I mean, this was a real retail project, going and meeting people where they were.
Yeah. I remember being at the Tonwater Clinic at 9 p.m. in the evening interviewing someone, yeah. That was very fulfilling also, yeah. What
has this been like for you personally?
Oh, it's been beautiful. The whole path, you know, from coming here and taking care of my ex-partner when he was dying, and changing careers and getting into the public service, it has been fantastic for me.
Well, you led me into my next question. I know the story of how you got here, but I think a lot of people would find it moving and fascinating when you came from Puerto Rico and why.
I came exactly on March 18th of 1995. My ex-partner, at the time we were very close friends, and he was diagnosed with HIV in San Juan in Puerto Rico. And then he accepted a sabbatical to work with Latino women on HIV. So he came here to work with the University of San Francisco, but then he liked it so much that he decided to stay. In a matter of about a year, I came here to visit him. He was already involved with a wonderful person, and they said to me, you should try, I mean, you should move here. And I was 49 years old, and I said to them, no, I cannot do that, you know. I have a job, I have my family, I have an apartment 2 blocks from the ocean. And I had a very good time here. It was my second visit to San Francisco. And I went back and I said to myself, you know, I can do it. And if I'm not doing it now, I'm not going to do it. So I took some time renting my apartment, finishing my work with this hotel that I was involved with. My mother developed cancer in the colon, so I waited till she had the surgery, and thank God everything came out well. And then I moved, yeah.
Do you think there really is something different about, I'm not talking about the medical care, but the way, what has been called often the San Francisco model of AIDS care?
I would say that for people that are HIV positive, and especially in our cases, the most important thing is the personal treatment that this clinic that I was working gives to these people. Let's take in consideration that the majority of these young men come from countries, and they are just new immigrants here, so they are exposed to a lot of problems besides their HIV. And I think that everybody that have a task there, from the doctor down to the secretary, is very pro-HIV sensitive, yeah. And I think that helps a lot. I have a personal experience with a former patient from Latin America, and I mentored this guy, and I helped him get his political asylum. And it's amazing how well he remembers every step of the things that I did for him. And that was so beautiful the way night he was talking about that. So, you know, situations like that. And I think that's why people remain in that particular clinic, because there is a very personal touch on the service that they get there.
And the name of that clinic?
Clinica Esperanza.
So this is Clinica Esperanza.
Clinica Esperanza, yeah.
So, you know, it's difficult enough being an immigrant coming into any country. But I would imagine, especially coming from Latin America, where Spanish is your first language, I imagine some of these people don't speak English. And then to also say, oh, and by the way, I'm HIV positive.
Exactly.
That's a big whammy.
Yeah. No, and they bring a lot of baggage of problems that they have back home with families, with neighbors, with former partners. There have been some very sad episodes of domestic violence, sexual abuse, and it's very hard for them, especially when you bring them to a lawyer if they want to apply for political asylum, because they have to bring out all that in order for us to make a good case. And for some it's not easy, and I cannot blame them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so you help one-on-one HIV positive people from Central Latin America come into the United States.
Yes.
So you deal with their immigration issues.
Yes, that was my favorite part of my work. Yeah, dealing with it. I work very closely with the ACE Legal Referral Panel. They were the one that will provide the lawyer, pro bono, and then from there I will take the rest of the case with the client and train them, coach them, attend with him the hearings, the immigration. For some reason or the other, I think that the immigration service in this city is more open, more progressive than in other places.
Have you been able to help everyone who came to you, or have there been some?
Everybody.
So not, you've got a 100%.
Yeah, well, I think that in general the clinic have done about 300 cases.
300 cases.
That I remember, I just lost one. And I didn't get the cooperation from the client as I needed. Yeah.
You must get a lot of Christmas cards.
I do.
In our last few minutes, talk to me about specifically this task force report that's coming forth. When is it going to be released? And do you have any tidbits yet? Anything that you've learned yet about the GLBT senior community in San Francisco that surprised you?
Yes. Maybe I was a little bit aware of it, but I was very much concerned, and that's why I joined the housing subcommittee, and that's what I work. I work with a fantastic fellow here, with Tommy Mecca, Avicoli. And what they did, what Bill Abram did, is that he divided the group into three committees: housing, legal, and health. So those committees are responsible to draft what we're going to present to the board. For example, in our case, we are trying to improve the conditions of the present aging a gay community in San Francisco regarding situations like with the famous Ellis Act, people that have been evicted without no valid reason. And then all that is drafted into a recommendation that should have some sort of solution, and how are you going to find the solution? Maybe getting some help from a foundation in order if you need money. And that will be merged into one project, and that will be presented to some members of the board on March 25th.
March 25th of 2014.
Yes, this coming March 25th. And then after that, there will be hearings, and people will be able to come and talk about it, yeah.
Well, I look forward to either having you or maybe Tommy Mecca. Would love to have him on the show talking about what was learned from that report.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We've been speaking with Jorge Rodriguez. Next up, our conversation with Shane Mayer and how his work is improving one of San Francisco's most historically challenged neighborhoods. We'll be right back.